Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कवितां शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् वाल्मीकेर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणा शृण्वान् रामकथानाथं को न यान्ति परां गतिम् वेद वेदे परे पुंसि जाते दाशरथात्मजे वेद प्राचेत चादासीत् साक्षाद् रामायदात्मना अंजनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षमन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमदां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आञ्जनेयमतिपाटलानां काञ्चनीयत्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासनं भावयामि भवमानन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमः राक्षसान्तकम्। So welcome one and all to this glorious day of Sita Navami. Today, within an half an hour's time of the Muhurta, many years ago was the day when Janak Maharaj plowed the Mother Earth and he conveniently took the plow and drew a line right in front of the field, and in there he got a golden lotus in which Mother Sita was found. Some versions say she was found in a golden trunk. Any which way, today was the day many years ago that Mother Sita, the darling of the Vaideha kingdom, the darling of the Mithila kingdom, the darling of Father Janaka, was born, was appearing today, and today we are all celebrating the wonderful festival of Sita Navami. The greatest way of celebrating a festival is, of course, seeing the lordships in their grandeur, watching them having their royal bath in the Abhishek, which at many places like Juhu and many others might be going on right now. But one of the best ways to worship and revere the appearance day of the great personalities and Vishnu Tattvas are by hearing their glories. And what glories that we have started this journey of Ramayana, and today we are going to come to a section of Ayodhya Kanda where the epitome of dharmic wife is going to be exemplified by Valmiki, where the focus is going to be on Mother Sita. And we will see the contrast in itself between the middle wife of Dasharatha, who is Kaikeyi, and we will see the contrast between how that wife of Dasharatha was versus how Rama's wife Sita is. So all this is bestowed today by Valmiki, and we will try to churn a little bit more into Ayodhya Kanda. As I said, Balakanda was just 2500 verses. But here in Ayodhya Kanda, Valmiki has poured out his heart and he has ensured that 7,000 verses are written in Ayodhya Kanda where 1 week's happening is being discussed. Yesterday evening, we discussed how Kaikeyi has been adamant and asking the two boons to Dasharatha. Dasharatha has been pleading, crawling on the floor, dejected, disheveled, and totally devastated. He is trying his level best to convince Kaikeyi. But Kaikeyi has been firmly taught by none other than Mantra, who has said that unless Dasharatha takes a vow on Rama himself, do not ask for the boon. When Dasharatha vowed on Rama that he will give whatever Kaikeyi desires, she asked the two greatest boons which she won in the Shambarasura Yuddha or the Shambarasura's battle, which was number one, to give Bharata the kingdom and make him the king by the coronation, and number two, Nava Panchavarshani. That means 9 plus 5. She wanted 14 years of exile for Ramachandra. Though even the first one was acceptable for Dasharatha, the second vow was impossible for him to hear. In fact, he almost fell unconscious when he heard the second boon. But that cruel Kaikeyi never even flinched an eyelid, and she was ready to take up to task and ensure that her desires are coming forth completely. So, what happened when Dasharatha woke up again after his unconscious spell is what we are going to see today. And how did these events unfurl? That is what something we will see. We will also speak a little bit glories about Mother Sita because today is Sita Navami in itself. Okay, so listen carefully what happened next when Dasharatha, the great king, he told Kaikeyi, why is this that you are taking this adverse step? And he kept plenty of reasons. In fact, Valmiki writes chapters. In fact, Sarga after Sarga, he writes the conversation between Dasharatha and Kaikeyi, just to emphasize how Rama is the apple of the eye of everyone, including Dasharatha, including Kaikeyi. The first question he says is that you are talking so much about Bharata will rule the kingdom, but let me give it to you in writing, Kaikeyi. Bharata will never rule this kingdom. Because as far as what I have seen, Bharata and Lakshmana and Shatrughna are all attached to Lord Ramchandra like anything. And if Rama says a word, they will never oppose. They will be always. These four brothers are so tight knit together that you cannot find a fault in them. So it is my strong faith that Bharata will never ask for this kingdom. Forget about Bharata. How do you think that when due to this grief, when I pass away from this world, I will go to the ancestors and with what face I will show them? When the ancestors ask me this question, that why did you not give Rama the kingdom? How will I answer the Ishwaku dynasty ancestors? There will be Shivi Chakravarti, there will be Kakustha, there will be Ishwaku. How will I face these ancestors? There will be Raghu, there will be Bharata, there will be so many people, and hence, how will I face these people? Then he mentions maybe Kaikeyi has some animosity against Dasharatha. So he immediately shifts his focus from him to his first wife Kaushalya. He says, how will I feel in front of Kaushalya? Think about Kausalya. She has been working like a maid servant to you, Kaikai. In fact, Valmiki writes it very clearly that though she is the principal queen, or she is the principal queen of Ayodhya, here she is mentioned that she works like a maid servant for Kaikei. That is how Kaikei's stubbornness is, that she makes everybody works for them, works for her. So she says, Kausalya, think about Kausalya. Hasn't she served you so much? Why can't you think of Kausalya and take back these two vows? What answer I will give Kausalya? I will not be able to face my principal queen. In fact, forget about Kausalya. My daughter-in-law, Sita, whose character is far exemplified. She is the spotless one. She does not have any fault in this. Won't she come up and ask me, Father Dasharatha? In fact, my father Janaka gave me the promise that Rama will take care, and now you are sending him to the forest. What answer will I give to my daughter in law Sita? How will I answer this question? I cannot face my daughter in law. And then, if I cannot face the daughter in law, what answer will I give Janaka, whom I promised that your daughter will be taken care? See, this is the culture of Indian Vedic society. Nowadays, this culture is very much lost, where the family of the receiving, where the girl comes into the family, they expect a lot of wealth, they expect a lot of um, uh, different kind of wealth and opulence from the other family, but they mistake that the real wealth and opulence is the chastity, is the good quality and the good nature that a girl brings into the family. Of course, this needs to be there if the parenting of that girl child in that house has been proper. If that is proper, then that is what will take the kula ahead. That is what will take the family and the progeny ahead. So Sita was such a great woman, where she is taken as one of the greatest person for chastity. So Mother Sita had that wonderful quality that even Dasharatha, he was thinking that how will I answer Mother Sita? When he said all these, he looked at Kaikeyi, crawled, he went and almost caught hold of her hand, and he even said, if you want, I will fall at your feet. He said that my head will touch your feet, but please take back the second boon and the two boons if possible. In fact, if you will give the kingdom to Rama, your glories will be sung. Don't you know Valmiki is recording all this? He didn't say that. But he's saying that please take away these two boons. But Kaikeyi, being firm, she said no, nothing doing. It seems that you are faltering in your promise, and hence kindly ensure that these two boons are put into practice as soon as possible, said the wicked Kaikeyi. At that time, Dasharatha says, it is impossible, Kaikeyi, that your mind has been brainwashed by someone. It is impossible that you can say these words. And seems like the person who has brainwashed your mind, that person is not even fit to be called as a woman, because woman means generally they have a lot of compassion. That is why they give birth to the children, to the babies, because they have compassion. Even though they go through pain, even though they go through tormenting situations, they give birth to a child. And that is because they have been blessed by Indra. And that is because they have been given this authority. So, a natural quality of a woman is to have compassion towards other living entities. And where is this compassion coming from? It is coming from the ultimate mother, Mother Sita. She is compassionate towards all living entities. In fact, if you actually go to Radha Ras Bihari Mandir, and if you take the darshan of Gaur Nitai, and then you take the darshan of Radha Ras Bihari Ji, and then you come to the third altar of Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, the three deities stand and give a very beautiful darshan to us. How do they stand? Lord Ramchandra is holding the bow and arrow, and he is giving the darshan, and he is giving the blessings. But Mother Sita is also holding her hand. So that means she is also giving her blessings. So, what is the difference between Rama's blessings and Mother Sita's blessings? It is said, Lord Ramchandra is saying, do not worry. Now I will give you, if you are walking in the path of Dharma, I will ensure that I will take you back. This is what Rama is saying. So do not worry. These are the blessings that he is giving. But you know what? When we go before Lord Ramchandra, we look back at ourselves. Are we walking on the path of Dharma? If we don't walk on the path of Dharma, will we get the blessings of Lord Ramchandra? We will not, because he is Dharmajnascha Kritajnascha. He is the one who is the embodiment of Dharma. So if we don't walk in the path of Dharma, and will his blessings be applicable on us? Maybe, maybe not. So if it is maybe not, then maybe he might get angry at us, saying that you are not following your duty. I have said that you have to follow your duty. So sometimes he might get angry. And if he gets angry, if the Lord gets angry on us, where will we go? When some things fall miserably in and around us, we go and fall at the feet of the Lord. But if the Lord gets angry on us, where will we go and fall? That is why Mother Sita is holding her hand. She's saying, while you will have to follow Dharma and everything, and my Lord will give you blessings, in case he gets angry, don't worry about him. I will give you blessings so that he will give you blessings. So that is why in our Gaudiya Parampara also, we go through Srimati Radharani, who is the mercy department of the Lord. The mercy department is more important first to be got. That is what happens in Sri Sampradaya also, because it starts with Sri, because she is the one who gives mercy. So here, Dasharatha is saying that all the mothers are supposed to be compassionate and merciful, but how come Kaikeyi you are not being merciful? Kaikeyi says, nothing doing. I am not going to budge from my two boons which I am going to ask. That is the time when Dasharatha says two great verses which Valmiki mentions very beautifully. And he says, Dasharatha says, Chiram kalu maya pape tvam pape na virakshita ajnanadoppa sampanna rajjurudvandiniyata ramamanastvaya sardam mrityum vavana viklakshaye balo rahasi hastena Krishna sarpamiva masprasham. He says, I used to think that I am taking this rope, and this rope I am maintaining. Sometimes some people maintain in their house lot of ropes, rassi. These ropes they maintain in the house for various activities. Like sometimes people need to draw water from the well. Sometimes they need to tie the rope so that they can put the clothes on the rope. So they are maintaining this rope. But Dasharatha is saying, I did not know that this rope which I was maintaining is actually circling my neck, and it is becoming the noose for my suicide. Kaikeyi, you are that rope. This is how Valmiki writes. I did not know that Kaikeyi, you are that rope which is going to cause me commit my suicide, because I gave you those two boons. Those two boons have become the rope which is going to tie my neck and take my life. The next thing he says is, Ramamamanastoya sardam mrityum va nabilikshaye balo rahasi hastena Krishna sarpam mavasprasham. He says, I thought you are like a small deer when I found you in the forest. He's recollecting when Kaikeyi was found. And as a small deer, as a doe, you have a lot of spots. And these spots are very beautiful to look at, very cute to look at. Even nowadays, many people on YouTube, they keep on seeing pet videos. This is a new trend which has started, where in Facebook people see all animal videos, cute videos, because they want to have a sense of touch. This all sense of touch, compassion takes us away from the false compassion. So we should be very careful while we are on the social media sites. There are many feeds which feed animal lovers as a feed. Even in ISKCON, there was one of the lectures where I heard there is a great movement to serve mother cows. Of course, we have to serve mother cow, protect mother cow. We have to take care of mother cow. And we have to ensure, because Krishna also protected mother cow. So we have to ensure that that happens. But at the same time, we should be careful that we should ensure in such a way that we are not going away only about taking care of mother cow and we forget Krishna altogether. That is not accepted. We should protect mother cow, keeping Krishna in the center. Why are we protecting mother cow? Not because we like to pet animals. No. We should protect mother cow, understanding that by protecting mother cow, we are doing the Varnashrama bit by which Krishna is pleased. Its cows, milk, and other offerings, Krishna is pleased by it. We should not protect mother cow because it's a fad, it's a fashion nowadays. So Krishna has to be in the center for everything. So here, Dasharatha is saying that I thought that you were a doe and I caught you and I kept with me and you had these lovely small little spots on you and you looked very cute. But now I know Krishna Sarpam Sprasham, that even cobra has dots on its back. So you became like a cobra and now you are actually stinging me. Look at the words that Valmiki used. We can't even think of such comparisons. That he's comparing the doe and the spots on the deer, and now he's saying there are spots on the cobra as well. And who am I was a little child who was crawling in the forest, and I did not know what was a cobra, what was a deer. I just saw the spots, I tried to touch, and you actually took your bite and bit your fangs into me. So Kaikeyi, seems like you are a very bad person. And like this he was saying, and then he starts to speak about the unfortunate thing that Rama is very obedient. He feels, you know what, Kaikeyi? I feel that my son, I'm very ashamed to have a son like Rama. And everybody thinks, why is Dasharatha saying this? In fact, anybody who has Rama as his son, they will be very proud. But here Dasharatha says, I'm very ashamed of having a son like Rama. Why are you ashamed, sir? He says, Yadi me ragava kuryandhvan gaccheti ta choditaha pratikulam priyam me syayantu vatsa karishyati syayantu vatsaha karishyati. Actually, if it was I or you, and our father says that please go to the tomorrow you are getting coronated, we'll be very happy. The next day, if our father says no, you have to go to the forest, we'll say, Dad, get lost. We are not going to do this. But you know what, Kaikeyi? I'm actually ashamed of Rama because he's a very obedient boy. He will not even ask twice, Dad, why are you saying like this? Father Dasharatha, Pitaji, why are you saying like this? Pita, I was supposed to go and become the king. Why are you saying? He will not ask. He will immediately say, Ayantu Vatsa Karishyati. He will immediately execute the decision, take the robes, and start walking towards the forest. And hence, Kaikeyi, I am very ashamed that I have a son. Maybe a disobedient son, like maybe Rama would have been disobedient. That would have been given me more happiness because he might have stayed. Like this, in a very poetic way, Dasharatha is saying. Dasharatha is actually happy that Rama is obedient. But he's saying that maybe if he was disobedient, he will stay. So the answer is that Dasharatha wanted always Rama to stay with him. And then he says, if it is becomes agreeable to Bharata to send Rama to exile, if you think that Rama will go to the exile of 14 years, let me promise right now, and I will ensure that this promise is taken care, that Bharata cannot light the funeral pyre on me. That means he's saying, I will pass away, and Bharata cannot lit the funeral pyre. Priyam chedratasya drapam prabhajanam bhavet masma me Bharata karshit pratye krityam gatayushaha. And he says that you are such a bad person, Kaikeyi, because your only interest is Rama has to go to the forest. And even if you want, let me tell you something. You and Bharata both live in this kingdom. I have nothing to do. Look at the way Dasharatha changes within minutes. Sometime back, he actually said, Bharata will never ask for the kingdom. And now he's saying, if you want you and Bharata, you both stay in the kingdom. This is where the twist of Ayodhya Kanda is. Ayodhya Kanda actually teaches us one great activity that we should not unnecessarily worship a personality more than what is required. This hero worshipping should not be done. Nowadays, in South India movie industry, North India movie industry, India's movie industry, everywhere hero worshipping happens on a great manner. One movie will come, one hero will be worshipped. There will be Pal Abhishekam for him. There will be Milk Abhishekam for him. There will be Curd Abhishek for him. People will fight with one hero with other fan club, and they will take great pride in this. Ayodhya Kanda is actually saying that how hero worshipping a particular person will bring us to a doom. Dasharatha was hero worshipping Mother Kaikeyi, and he was completely surrendered to Kaikeyi, due to which he had to undertake this difficulty. And this is what was happening, and it was very difficult for him. Similarly, Bharata was unduly hero worshipped, and now he is a small mistake committed by somebody else, all the blame is coming on Bharata. So he's saying, even if you want, you stay with Bharata, but I will not stay. Like this, he mentioned. And finally, he gave his one word. He says, Yatam mantra kritapanir agno papo maya dritaha tam tyajami swajam chaiva tava putram sahatvaya. O wicked woman Kaikeyi, I abandon your hand, which was clasped by me in presence of the nuptial fire, which is that when I held your hand, when I did Pani Grahana, when your father did Kanyadan, Ashwapati, he did Kanyadan and gave your hand into my hand, that hand I will leave it now. And it was sacred recitations, and due to which Bharata was God, but now I am leaving your hand. That means in Vedic science, there is no word called as divorce. But Pani Grahanam, once the hand has been got of a woman and a man and a husband and a wife, there is no sign, there is no indication of something called as divorce. But Prabhuji, there is so many difficulties. There are so many tough moments. What is the problem? Legally, it is possible, but Vedic institution says there is no way of divorce. So what should one do? This is because of our karmic reaction. We have to suffer and finish it. Of course, there can be distance in both the people. Mentally, physically, there can be distance, but there is no proceedings in which it says that there is a divorce. So we have to be very carefully reading Srimad Bhagavatam. But how do we reach not divorce? When we read Srimad Bhagavatam, when we read Ramayana, when we read Mahabharata, we get a lot of maturity. We get a lot of knowledge of how to conduct one's life, how people get affected by lust, anger, greed, pride, envy. We get these knowledgeable items. And when we read continuously and when we actually get this knowledge, then we are always checking ourselves. We will not walk in the path which will give us divorce. Even if the other person is walking in the wrong path, the husband or the spouse or the wife, whoever is walking in the wrong path, but if we continue to be mature, we will handle the situations which are coming to us in a mature way. And when we handle the situations that are coming to us in a mature way, the reactions of those situations will be positive in nature. Though we might commit mistakes, but still we should come back to these books. At that time, going to a psychiatrist or going to a psychologist and giving tons of money, and they will say some mumbo jumbo, some motivational lectures of keeping two people together, nothing is going to work. Why? Because the maturity, unless it dawns upon the husband and the wife, till that time, nothing can happen between the couple. So here, that maturity is being shown, that both of them are trying hard to get their desire right. And Dasharatha is trying hard again and again to ensure the familial nuptial bond which is there between him and Kaikeyi is maintained. But at the end, when he sees that she is going against Krishna consciousness, she's taking the Lord out of his life, she's taking the Lord's presence out of his life, he is ready to give away the very wife. And that is why he says, I will give away. The same can be exhibited in Srila Prabhupada's life as well. In fact, Srila Prabhupada used to write voluminous commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. And he had stacked up Srimad Bhagavatam's voluminous commentaries. And one fine day, when he asked his wife, "Where are those?" she said, "I sold it to the tea wala to get some tea because those were old books." Srila Prabhupada in his old age thought that this is a sign from Krishna. And he asked, "Tea or me?" And when his wife said tea, he immediately left the house and took sannyas. So it doesn't mean that tomorrow we take our bags and leave and ask these questions, food or me? No, that is not the point. The point is still Prabhupada did not take divorce. There was no legal papers signed because there is nothing in Vedic system. You can look at all the Vedic scriptures. There is no word called as divorce in the Vedic system. So why I'm saying is this is because even in the ISKCON community, the divorce rates are quite high. It's an it's an ugly truth, but we should try to go back to the roots, and we should try to learn this fact that the maturity comes from reading the books, reading the Shastras. And if we are plugged into the Shastras, then we can ensure that we ISKCON devotees have all the recipes to become an ideal Grahastha life. Many of you who are watching are in the Grahastha ashrama. Hence, it is my ardent request that a Grahastha should always engage with scriptures, should always read the scriptures, should always engage in discussing and debating the scriptures, asking the questions which will enable that we have a smooth ride in our Grahastha life. Saying this, Dasharatha said, "I will completely disown you." And he said, "I think the time has come." He was not even able to say a word. Valmiki says the night had already fallen and the stars were getting clear. He was praying to the stars, he was praying to the night sky, he was praying to everyone out there, saying that by somehow or the other, please do not let the sun not rise, because if the sun rises, this night will go, and if the night goes, I Rama will go, and if Rama goes, my life will go. Gachatham, which is the first word of Ayodhya Kanda. So he says, please let this night not come. But that is the will of the Lord. The night passes away. The morning arrives. Dasharatha is completely on the floor. Now Kaikeyi is pacing up and down. She asks the question, are you going to call Rama and execute these two boons of mine or not? She is a very, very shrewd person. Then she calls Sumantra. Now the scene cuts from the Kaikeyi's Kopa Bhavana to the palace roads, to Ayodhya, where everybody is so happy. Everybody, you zoom into one person's house, Mr. Sharma is finding new kurta to wear for coronation. Padmini auntie in the other house is actually finding new necklaces to wear. Another Mataji is looking at her silk sari and border and saying, if Rama wears green color, I will wear green border. And all these calculations are going on, and people are running here and there asking invitations. What are you going to wear? What is the perfume? What is the gift that you are going to give Rama? How Dasharatha will be? And everybody is in a fan fervor. And at the same time, when the camera zooms into the palace courtyard, Vashishta is saying, okay, this is ready. Okay, ghee pots are ready. Sacrificial fire is ready. Is the crown polished? Okay, is the Simhasana okay? Are the 4 divisions of army ready? Is Shrutanjaya, the elephant, ready? Is the umbrella ready? Like that, he is keeping everything arranged. And the scene cuts. Vashishta comes immediately from his place, and he comes to the palace and he tells Sumantra, please go and tell the king that the constellation is going to enter the moon. The Pushya Nakshatra is going to come and the Muhurta time is going to come. So we have to start. Where is Dasharatha? I cannot see Dasharatha at all. Sumantra says, I will go and bring him. Sumantra goes all the way, goes and sees all these festivities happening on the road, and he's very happy. And he comes before Dasharatha in the Kopa Bhavana and he says, "O valiant king, I am waking you up. I am waking you up today," because he sees that Dasharatha is still asleep and he is little worried. But generally, Sumantra is known of a placid nature. That means he will not get too happy, too sad immediately. So he's seeing that Dasharatha is still asleep. Maybe I should wake him up. He says, I am waking you up like Indra, charioteer. Mitali wakes up Indra. I am waking you up how Vedas wake up a lost person in ignorance. I am waking you up how, like the sun and the moon, wakes up all the living entities in this world. And I am waking you up how the ocean's waves wakes up the good transcendence and good qualities amongst us. See, such a great way of waking up such people. Not like us with an alarm which goes on and there is no goodness for us to hear when we wake up. Sumantra is waking up. Dasharatha is not even saying a word. Immediately, Kaikeyi says, look, he is not well, but I'm telling you, go and tell Rama to come here. Sumantra is saying that Dasharatha I am speaking to. Why is Kaikeyi answering? And Kaikeyi has called me means there is some problem. So he says, okay, I will call Rama, no problem, because you are Agnya, you are the one of the queen, the principal queen of Kosala. I will definitely call Rama. No problem that I will not call Rama, but I would like to hear that from Dasharatha once. Dasharatha is not able to say a word to Sumantra. And at that time, Kaikeyi says, cracks a whip almost by her words on Dasharatha and says, why don't you tell him? Dasharatha says, please go and get Rama. So Sumantra knows something is happening, but he hopes that everything is okay. He immediately goes out. When he goes out, he sees a lot of kings coming into the palace. And he says, we have got this gift for Rama. We have got this gift for Dasharatha. We have got this wonderful items for the coronation. Why doesn't Dasharatha come and see us? He didn't even receive us. And Sumantra feels, yeah, this is correct. He should have received all of you. Why is he sitting and sleeping? I will go back. So he goes back. Though he was told to bring Rama, he goes back. He comes up to the door. He sees all these people. He goes back. And when he goes back and says, Dasharatha, Dasharatha, so many people have come up with gifts. Why don't you wake up and receive them? Dasharatha immediately scolds Sumantra. He said, I told you, go and bring Rama. Why are you talking to me unnecessarily? He's fully dejected. Sumantra says that something is wrong. So he hurriedly goes back. He drives the chariot, and he hears so many people talking about each other, about the great things of how the coronation is going to happen. He enters Rama's palace, and when he enters Rama's palace, he sees he is seated next to Mother Sita, and he immediately Sumantra tells Lord Rama that he gives a very beautiful verse. He says, Kausalya Supraja Rama Pitam Tvam Drashtumichhati Mahishyasi Kaikeya Gamyatam Tatra Machiram. Can you put the switch on? So he says very beautifully that, O Rama, the good offspring of Kausalya, your father and Queen Kaikeyi wants to see you. Go there very soon. This is what he says. He says he wants to see. And when Lord Rama hears that Dasharatha wants to see, he is happy. But when he says that Mother Kaikeyi also wants to hear you, he gives a gentle smile. He knows something is wrong. And he says, okay, Sita, I will immediately come. Maybe my father needs me right now. Let us go. And he immediately proceeds with with Sumantra, and he reaches his father's chamber, who is there in Kaikeyi. Sapitrucharanau purvam abhivadya vinitavat tatapavande charanau Kaikepyaya susasmahita. He being very humble, Rama, and well composed, he does the abhivadaye, he gives the salutations, falls at father's feet, and then salutes Kaikeyi's feet. And he asks, Father, how are you? It seems like you are not good. And Dasharatha doesn't even answer one single word. And Rama is very worried. He's not worried that what is going to happen to him or the coronation. He's worried that why is Dasharatha, his own father, whom he loves so much, is not even answering a single question. Kaikeyi says, look, he is not able to tell, he is very shy, but actually he has given me two boons and he has got two desires, and hence I would like to tell that to you. And he says, Yes, Mata. What is the two boons that you want me to execute? He says, first, you should leave the kingdom and give the kingdom to Bharata. Second, you should go Navapancha Varshani. 14 years you should go to the forest. And when Rama heard this, if we are all there at that moment, we would be like rolling up our sleeves and get ready to go. Kaun bola? When to go? Who are you? My father has not told me. Who are you to say? We would have said all these segments. But the great Kamban says, Lord Rama's face, which was like a lotus, became like a fresh lotus which has bloomed. He did not even have a small bit of agony that something has been lost. This is a very great incident where Kamban mentions. He was like a fresh bloom lotus which went into a lotus which went into the palace hall with the hope that he will become the king. And when this was told to him, the lotus bloomed further. He was equipoised. This is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, that Arjuna, Shitoshta Samadukhada, please consider happiness. Jaya Labho Vijayo. So he says, Labho, Labho. Even if you win something, you lose something, you get happiness or distress, don't show any extreme emotions. Arjuna was very wrong in this, because he went once and told the Brahmana's child, I will protect your child. The Brahmana said, okay, fine, my 16 children before have died. He said, don't worry, if I cannot protect your child, I will jump into the fire. And he created a big barrier of arrows and tried to protect the Brahmana's child. And the 16th child was born. And when the child was born, Arjuna was very happy. He said, look, the child is born. And immediately the child vanished. And the Brahmana said, now you go and jump into the fire. And he was like, I made a promise and I couldn't manage it. And Krishna comes and takes him all the way to Vaikunta to get that Brahmana's child back. And then he said, I will fight anyone on the battle. I am a great warrior. But when he came in front of his family members, he said, he's my cousin, he's my spiritual preceptor, he's my guru, he's my grandfather, I cannot fight. So Arjuna was always swayed with a lot of emotions, not with dharma as such. So that is why Krishna said that you should be equipoised in happiness and distress. At that time, Arjuna asked, you are telling me this, Krishna, have you practiced it? Krishna says, in Rama's pastime, I was equipoised. There is a nature of equipoiseness in me. In fact, Acharya has commented, Krishna had actually practiced what he is preaching right now. In fact, he is preaching what he practices. That is the most important thing to note. So, in this way, when Kaikeyi said this to Lord Ramchandra, Ramchandra immediately had one deep regret in his heart. Please mind, I said there was nothing changing in Ramchandra, but he had a deep regret. What is the regret he had? He says, Aho digna naharha se devi panktum mami dasham vachaha aham hi vachanat ragya pateyam api pavake bhakshayema visham tikshnam majjayemam api charnave niyukta guruna pitra napena chahitena cha. He said, O queen, Kaikeyi, what a pity. Do not talk like this to me. Do not talk that I have to execute. If my father tells me that please jump into the fire, I will not even ask twice. I will immediately go and jump into the fire. If my father asks me, who is the king, says for the welfare of others, please drink poison. Bhakshayam viksham tikshnam. He says, if he tells me to drink poison, I would drink it immediately. Why he has to say, Mother, if you would have executed and said, forget about Dasharatha, I want you to go to the forest for 14 years and give the kingdom to Bharata, I would have given it happily. Why are you taking this trouble of telling King Dasharatha to undergo this penance? This is not right. Like this Rama says, Tatra me yachitar raja bharatasya abhishechanam gamanam dandakaranye tava cha adyaveva raghava. O Rama, according to these boons, I ask the king for coronation of Bharata and you go into Dandaka forest today itself. Kaikeyi is very sharp. She does not leave. She says, you have to go. किमं पुनर्मनुज इन्द्रेण स्वयं पित्रा प्रचोदितः तव च प्रिय कामार्थं प्रतिज्ञाम् अनुपालयन्. So being directed by the king, who is my father himself, how much more should I tell that I can give you everything to Bharata and duly obeying my father's promise to fulfill your beloved desire. So Rama has decided that he is going to the forest within a flash of a second because this is what is going to come. And he says, immediately I shall go to live in the forest, Mother Kaikeyi, for 14 years. I will not even reflect whether my father's word are right or wrong. He says, Dandakaranyameshesho aham mitha gachamistvaraha avicharya piturvakyam samavastum chaturdasha. This is the time he uses the word chaturdasha, 14. He doesn't use nava panchavarshani. He uses the word chaturdasha. So finally, he takes the permission from both of them. Dasharatha is not even able to speak a word. He's almost on the floor. His life air is going up and down. He is wailing in himself. He is not able to move. But Rama thinks that this is the time to take permission from both his mother and father like figures. So what does Rama do? Sarama pitaram kritva kaikeyim cha pradakshinam nishkramya antapurat tasmat swam dadarsha suhajjanam. He actually does the circumambulation. He does the pradakshina 4 times of Dasharatha and Kaikeyi and touches the feet of Dasharatha and takes the permission to go. Now is the time. He is going to go. And first, he is going to go to Mother Kaushalya, who is actually doing an puja to Ranganath, and she is waiting for the coronation to happen. So Rama gets onto the chariot. All the people in the palace who was hearing this entire conversation, they started weeping. And when they started weeping, they spoke to each other, how cruel is Kaikeyi? Look at Dasharatha, how he has become a lusty husband and falling under the feet of Kaikeyi. And how can he, a great king, do such a big sin? And Rama immediately sees all the good things, all the gifts that has been given to him. He immediately mounts the chariot and goes past the same Ayodhya cross street, Ayodhya main road, where everybody is happy to see Rama and Sumantra, and they are thinking now the coronation is going to happen. He's going to take the blessings of his mother. And everybody is still fan fervor. Everybody is talking. Now the news, the grapevine, the rumors have not come into the streets of Ayodhya yet. And he goes to his mother Kausalya, and then he immediately goes there, and his mother is very happy. She gives all the blessings and she says, Rama, you are going to become the king today. Rama just smiles and say, Mother, I have a very important message to give. Father has sent me this message. What is the message? Chaturdasha hi varshani vatsyami vijayena vane madhufula falai jivan hitva munit amisham. Now, there is a big problem in this verse. So many people have asked me this question. What does the verse say? I shall live in a solitary forest like a sage for 14 years, O Mother Kaushalya. I am going to live in the forest for 14 years, leaving off meat and leaving with roots, fruits, and honey. So many people from the other sampradayas and other religions take this verse saying that Rama has said that he will not eat meat, and hence Rama used to eat meat. So why you guys are saying that Rama used to eat meat and you should not eat meat? This is foolish par excellence. And in fact, every time I go and give Ramayana somewhere, some person will have this question. And I have to answer this question. Did Lord Ramchandra have meat? Did he have the meat of other living entities? This is a question which is asked. Generally, this is asked by people who are envious in nature. They want to ensure that they want to continue eating meat. So they want to find scrupulous references in Vedic Shastras where they can get such references and they can use it. Nevertheless, let us see the truth. Here, the context of the word is to be used very carefully. When you use the word flesh, or the flesh need not be always the flesh of a living animal. For example, now it is the mango season. When you want to get apus by truckloads, when you want to cut the apus mango, first you cut the sides of the mango because that is where the mango is the most juicy. And if you look at English, it says the flesh of the mango does not mean that it is flesh or meat. Similarly, in Sanskrit, amisham, or it might look like meat, the flesh is meant of fruits. So, what Rama is saying, I'll control my senses. I will not pick the best of the fruits and the best of the fleshes of the fruits. I will actually live with roots which are hard, which is difficult, which is what Kaikeyi wants me to do because she wants me to undergo difficulty. This is the meaning of the shloka, what Valmiki says, not to literally take it as he was the one who was having meat. This is when we do not have proper science to understand the Sanskrit verses. So next time somebody asks you, did Lord Ramchandra have meat and give these verses? Tell them to read the verses and give. Tell them that the Sanskrit, every word has multiple meanings. Like in a word, it says, my father used to say this shloka, Ajaputram, Ajaputrim balim dattva devo durbalagatakaha. Ajaha means goat. Ajaha means also means one who is the grandfather or Lord Brahma himself. So there are different meanings of every single word. Like we saw Neelakanta, Neelakantam. Neelakanta means Lord Shiva. Neelakantam means peacock. So Sanskrit is a beautiful language where the words have to be used in a proper scenario. So here Rama says to Kausalya, I am going away. I am not going to be with you. I am going 14 years to the forest. At that time, Lakshmana becomes very, very furious. And he says that I think this is the time has come. We should not listen to anybody. This is injustice which is happening. Rama says, wait. First, let mother speak. Then Kausalya says, why is Kaikeyi doing this so much to me? She says, take me along with me. Please take me along with you, Rama. Because this Kaikeyi, I have been serving her so much and she has actually been very stubborn. She ensures everybody serves her only. So please take me along with you. I cannot live without you. Right? I cannot live like this. Lakshmana, seeing mother's plight, he becomes more angry. He says, what is this kind of nonsense our father is doing? Our father is doing entirely nonsense. This is not how it has to be done. Right? He says this is like almost the lion's share is being given to the jackals or a dog on the street. So he compares Bharata to a dog, and the lion is none other than Ram, and the lion's share of meat, which is none other than the Ayodhya, is being given to the dogs. Here is the second time when Lakshmana is actually accusing Bharata without even his fault. So Dasharatha has already accused. Kausalya says that Bharata's mother, Kausalya, is accused. Third, Lakshmana has also accused Bharata for no fault of his. Everybody is getting animosity. The anger and the envy and anger is rising in the minds of the people of Ayodhya against Bharata. At that time, Lakshmana suggests a great plan. He says, विपरीत च वृद्ध च विषयी च प्रदर्शितः नृपः किम इव ब्रूया च चोद्यमानः समन्मतः. He says, brother, if you don't want to tell me, I think our father is already old. Satya gaye. He has gone old. Completely old. He has gone cuckoo in his head. He doesn't understand what he speaks. He keeps saying the same thing sometimes. If you want, I will kill him and give the kingdom to you. Look at Lakshmana. He's saying, I'll kill my father because he feels that is the dharma. Rama says, no need of taking such false missions. He says, the king is with perverted mind of old age, one who is outraged by sensual enjoyments, Rama, and possessed of passion. He can talk anything. And he is talking all this because that Kaikeyi is prompting him, Lakshmana says. Then he says, प्रोत्साहितोऽयं कैकेयो सदुष्टो यदि पिता amitrabhuto nissangam vadyatam vadyamattamai. He says, if our father with an evil mind behaves like our enemy, I shall keep him imprisoned and without personal attachment. I will not have any attachment, Rama. I will go and put him in the jail. And if needed by, I will kill him also, says Lakshmana. He's in the mode of anger because he cannot see Lord Rama in difficulty. He says, nothing doing. Don't do like this. Please, it is much more important that we take the blessings of mother right now. Kausalya is weeping. She is very sad and she lets Rama go. And Rama says, now we have to take the second decision is to go and take the decision from my wife and console her. This is where Mother Sita enters and he goes into the palace of Mother Sita. Sita is very happy to see Lord Ramchandra arrive. She is thinking that such a beautiful news is going to come that he is going to be coronated as the king of Ayodhya. At that time, Lord Ramchandra immediately goes to Mother Sita and he says, and the conversation between Mother Sita and Rama, everybody should read Valmiki Ramayana. It's one of the best conversations that you can get. It is the best conversation between a husband and a wife. And because it is Sita Navami, we will take 10-15 more minutes just to churn the beautiful nature of Mother Sita. It is important for us to see this. Without seeing this, we cannot go. In fact, Lord Ramchandra comes to Mother Sita and says, look, I have been told to go to the forest. Hence, I am going to go. You please take care of Kausalya Mata, take care of my father. His blood pressure tablets have to be given. If he gets corona, he has to be locked down, he has to be taken care. So, you be here, maintain social distancing from the politics of the house, and please take care. Mother Sita says, what kind of knowledge are you speaking? Aren't you the one who told that when you married me, wherever you go, I will be with you? So the heaven for a person is not the palace. For a wife, the heaven is by the alongsides of the husband. If the husband is virtuous like you, Rama, why would I stay in the palace? In fact, I will come along with you. She's putting her first argument that she is not going to be in the palace. Then immediately, Lord Rama says, tries to give logic as an answer. He says, look, Sita, it is not that easy that you can come to the forest. The forest is full of thorns and you cannot walk on those thorns. You know how Sita takes that question? Sita answers by saying, thorns, no? Rama, I will walk in front and I will remove all the thorns from the trees and the creepers so that you can walk aramse behind me. Mother Sita is thinking maybe Ramchandra doesn't want to walk on thorns. That's why he's saying there are thorns in the forest. But Sita is saying, don't worry, I will remove the thorns for you, but I am coming with you. 1+1 Jodi offer has to happen. Then Rama says, look, Sita, it's not only about the thorns. There are alligators, there are crocodiles, there are tigers, there are jackals, there are hyenas, there are wild animals around every nook and corner. And they will all attack us at any given point of time. It is not a place for a 18-year-old girl, Mother Sita. So you should stay here. Sita says, I don't need an advocate, Rama. If all of them are there, you are the tiger amongst men. And it is generally known when men enter into the animal folk, the animals run away. And when you are there, the most valorous person in the entire three worlds, why should I fear? Hence, I am coming with you. He says, look, Sita, I'll give you a third reason why you cannot come. I will be eating only fruits and roots and everything. You will not get paneer butter masala. It will be almost like Ekadashi Vrata every day or Bhishma Panchaka every day. You cannot get opulent food. There will be no Sunday feast in ISKCON temples. You cannot go to Sunday feast and attend 2 p.m. lecture and get the feast. It is not possible. You'll not get aloo gobi, dum gobi, this, that, all the wonderful things that ISKCON people are making, you will not get. And the palace cooks won't give such palatable dishes, you won't get in the forest. Sita says, do not no worry. In fact, I have been eating like this for the so many days. And my all my dresses are maintaining social distances from each other. I want to go on a diet. So it is better I also eat fruits and roots like you. Hence, I am coming with you. Whatever Ram said as a question, Sita had an apt answer. So many people nowadays want to take the side of women and start protesting, saying that we want equality. Let us get one thing straight. Mother Sita doesn't need an advocate of her own. She can fight her own battles. In fact, she once says, when whatever He tried saying that there is no way, uh, there is no way that you can come with me. Mother Sita says a very beautiful verse at the end, which changes Rama's decision. She says, Kim tva amanyet vaidehe pita me mitila deepaha ramajamataram prapya striyam purusha vigraham. The last three words are most important. Striyam purusha vigraham. In fact, Kim tva, the first word itself, Mother Sita says a very beautiful shloka. She says, at the outset, if you look at the top of the shloka, it mentions that Kimtwa seems like I thought that my father was a great learned man. He was Janaka. But now, because you are leaving me here, I think though he was a great learned man, he made one mistake. He made me get married to you, Rama, because he said you are such a great personality because you broke the bow. But only I know that bow was already broken. Because it was an already broken bow, you just broke it and you took my hand. But now I know you are not a man, you are actually a woman. You are actually a woman in the disguise of a man. Striyam Purusha Vigraham. This is what Sita is telling to Lord Ramchandra, that you are not a man, you are actually a woman. Imagine the Kshatriya Kula, the Maryada Purushottam Ram hearing this from his own wife, and Lakshmana is standing next to him. Wouldn't there be a big fight? But she is telling with all anguish. She is saying that it seems like you are just a woman. You know how you are? Just like in the fields, when you go to flutter away the birds and others, you have a scarecrow. You have a dummy person made with a matka on the head. There is a dummy person standing there and driving away all the birds and the beasts. You are like that scarecrow, Rama. You are not real. Seems like you are just here to holding your bow and all talking all this nonsense just to scare people. But inside you are just hay. Bhusa bara hai. This is what Mother Sita says. So she's so adamant in a good way to serve Lord Ramchandra. So this is what we learned during Sita Navami. That Mother Sita is so much loving to Lord Ramchandra that for him, for her, he undertook this great battle. For her alone, he traveled such a long distance to get her back. Such is not the greatness of Lord Ramchandra. If you want to travel and take so much adversaries and fight a great battle and go through so many difficulties, we should only think that how great will be the treasure that Ramchandra received. That is why Valmiki says this is Sitayam Charitam Mahat. This is the glories of Mother Sita. That is the original name that we should be giving. So, like this, she put her point very vehemently. And when she put her point very vehemently, Ram said, Okay, Baba, don't speak this. Tomorrow, Arnab Goswami or anybody will put a big media channel and there will be a debate. So, let us not do this. I accept, you come with me. Media channels will speak about this. By this time, everybody in Ayodhya got to know that Ramchandra is going to go to the forest and he is going to change the robes and he is going to wear the robes of a matted man, of like with kusha grass he's going to wear. So immediately everybody said plan has got changed. Our silk saris, please keep it aside. Bring that suitcase, fill it with all the austere clothes, and now we are also going to go behind Ramchandra. So people who wanted to go behind Ramchandra started increasing. First Mother Lakshmi, Sita herself said, I'm going to come with you. Ram agreed, and they both started walking out of the palace and they were not able to move. When they saw at the feet there was Lakshmana holding the feet of Mother Sita and Lord Ramchandra. And Lakshmana said, what mistake have I done? Why are you leaving me? Sarva karya karishyami. He says to Mother Sita, I will do all the jobs, Sita. Rama asked, do you know to cook, Sita? Sita said, no, I don't know to cook. Lakshmana said, why you are worrying, mother? I will cook. Be it paneer butter masala or puris or chapatis, whatever you want, I will cook. Then Rama asked Sita, do you know to wash vessels? She said, if I know to cook, I will wash vessels. I don't know to cook, so I won't wash vessels. So Lakshmana said, Sarva karya karishyami. I will do all the activities. You just need to eat, keep the vessels. I will go inside, wash it, and give it back to me. I'll keep the bed ready. You can go take rest. Sarva karya karishyami. I will do jhadu. I will do bartan. I will do washing clothes. I will clean the curtains. I'll fight with people. I'll give security. I will be the CCTV camera. Sarva karya karishyami. Mother Sita said, one maid servant able to do everything. We will not get anywhere in the forest. Nobody will give us. Please take him also along. So Rama said, okay, you also come along. So now three people are ready to go to the forest. Ram, Sita, and Lakshman. In fact, all three of them got out of the palace and they wanted to take the beautiful darshan of their mothers and wanted to depart. And in fact, they were actually walking by the streets of Ayodhya to take the final blessings from their mothers. And they were walking in such a way that Rama was in front. And there is a beautiful shloka which actually mentions in Aranyakanda, Agrata Prayo Rama Sita Madhye Shushobana Prishtatha tu Dhanushpani Lakshmana Anujagamaha. Rama traveled ahead while the glorious Sita in the middle and the wielding bow of Lakshmana followed them on the rear. In fact, this scene of Rama in the ahead, Mother Sita in middle, and Lakshmana in the back, many acharyas have commentated, and with that commentary, we'll come to a close for the morning session today. They comment that it is like the Pranavakara, generally the Omkara that people speak. In the Vedic custom, it is said that the Omkara should not be spoken in the open. It is actually a Gupta mantra. So all these radios and YouTube channels which actually keep on chanting Pranavakara, it is actually supposed to be Gupta mantra. And women are not generally supposed to chant because it disables a lot of chakras in the body. There is a science behind it. So even Gayatri mantras, specific time, duty, place, everything is there. So mantras have their rule. So why I'm saying this is many acharyas comment it was like the Pranava mantra, the Omkara actually traveling. What is the Omkara? If you split the Omkara, there are three letters: A, U, Ma. All three put together form the Omkara mantra. A stands for none other than Paramatma, the Lord Himself. Ma stands for the Jivatma. And U is the one who is actually binding the Paramatma and the Jivatma together. So look at the verse that Valmiki uses. Agrata prayayo Rama. He uses the first word A. Agrato. A means agrato. Look at the way people actually look at the lens of the word and the verse of Valmiki Ramayana. And he's thinking all this and writing Agrato. A. That means Paramatma, the Lord himself. Prayorama Sita Madhye Su Shobhana. Su U is there. Su Sushobhana. The U is Madhye, that is Sita. The U is given. And Prishtatah tu Tanushpani Lakshmana Anujagamaha Ma. A, U, and Ma. Ma is none other than Lakshmana himself. So it was as if the Pranavakara himself was moving outside, looking at the sight. The Ayodhya Vasis were stunned and they did not know what to say. In fact, Kamban, the great Ramayana poet, he mentions in a very beautiful verse that what happened to the Ayodhya Vasis. With that, we will come to a finish. He says that everybody cried looking at that sign of when these three people walked amongst them. They cried, they shed their tears. Who all cried? They said. When the family members of the house go out, it is not possible in lockdown. When the lockdown finishes and when you go out in the villages outside the family, the most happiest entity is the cat. The cat likes when everybody has gone, it will enter into the kitchen and start drinking the milk which is kept on the stove. So the cat likes this fact that people have gone from the house. But even the cat came to the road and started seeing all these three people and started shedding tears. The cows, the bovine, the animals, the calves, they started shedding tears. The birds, they started shedding tears. In fact, Kamban says in a very beautiful way, the fetuses which were inside the pregnant woman or the mother, which had not even had formed a shape, looking at this sight, they also shed the tears. So many people cried at this very difficult sight of seeing all the three people go. At that time, Lakshmana requested Rama, while you are taking the nice permission from Kausalya Mata once more, I would like to go to my mother Sumitra and take a permission. Rama says, "Don't worry, please go and come back at around say 8:30 p.m. today, where we will see what did Sumitra do and how did these three personalities move towards the forest, which is going to be the next peak of emotions of Ayodhya Kanda." So we will see that in today evening at 8:30 p.m. Thank you very much for joining in this morning session. I wish you all a very great Sita Navami. Though these pastimes are talking about the epitome of Sita's power, we should also try to imbibe on Sita's qualities today, and we should meditate on those qualities so that we can very nicely pray to Mother Sita that she gives us the strength and she is merciful unto us in order to ensure that we are successful in our campaign of Krishna consciousness, which is to attract the blessings of our spiritual master. So that when our spiritual master blesses us, we get more attracted to Mother Sita, Srimati Radharani, and her service. We get more attracted to the holy names, which finally attracts Krishna. This is the secret that we can be very sure of attaining. Today is that great day when the mercy is flowing unlimitedly. And on this Sita Navami day, I wish you all a very happy Krishna conscious life. And let's hope that this great calamity and the pandemic, which is hitting us nowadays, also comes to an end, because she is the Jagan Mata, she is the mother, and she is the ultimate compassionate person. So let us all pray to her that Sarvalokho Sukhino Bhavantu. Let all the living entities in the world, they are very peaceful, they are healthy, and they are able to execute their devotional service in a very nice way. If you have any questions, comments, we can discuss. If you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to put your comments in the YouTube box. I will be more than happy to answer them. मंगलाशासन पदई मदाचार्य पुरोगमे सर्वै सर्वै पूर्व आचार्य सत्कृतायास्तु मंगलम. Thank you very much. Mangalam Kosalendraya Maganiya Gunaptane Chakravarti Tanajaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss.